So you're playing Genshin, you're doing some tent pulls, and you get 5-star Chiori. Now, what do you get with Chiori besides my second favorite character? Well, Chiori is a sword-wielding Geo user who is a very, very good off-field sub, who is a very good off-field damage dealer. And in this video, we are going to look at the basics of Chiori, how her kit works, all of that fun stuff. Now, if you want to see the full build of my Chiori, then it will be at the end of the video. But first, we're going to look at how her kit works. So Chiori's normal attacks are going to be pretty standard. They're going to do physical damage, but she does have really, really cool animations. Also, I love her outfit, right? Of course, I love her outfit. But she does dual wield swords, which is something that not all sword characters do. I think there's only a few that actually dual wield swords. And her charge attack, she is going to do a flurry of physical damage attacks, just like a lot of the other sword characters. Now, her skill has a few different things that it can do. It has a tap and a hold where if you tap it, she's just going to move forward, dealing a little bit of an AoE geo damage. You can catch multiple enemies with it, but it's an upward slash. And where she does the slash, she's going to leave this doll. This is her fashion doll. It's a doll that helps her with creating her fashion pieces. And what this doll is going to do is that it is going to do intermittent geo damage as well as coordinated geo damage with your on-field character if they do a normal or charged attack. The hold version of the skill is going to pretty much do the same, but it's going to let you aim it, like I'll Hate Them or Kaching, being that Kaching is just Electro Chiori and I'll Hate Them is Dendro Chiori. And if you aim it up, then you can follow it up with a plunging attack as well. Now, the doll does stay on the field, even if you swap characters. You can see we swapped to I'll Hate Them, we swapped to Kuki, then we swapped to Farina, and the doll stays on the field. And the coordinated attack from the doll is like once every 2 seconds. You also notice that Chiori's sword is glowing a little bit of yellow. That is because it gives her Geo Infusion for about 5 seconds. This comes from one of her passives. I believe it is actually her second passive. Now, something else with her skill is that whenever you use it, you can then follow it up with the E or using her skill again, and it will automatically change you to the next character in your party. So for instance, if we use Chiori's skill and then we hit E again, it is going to swap to I'll Hate Them, allowing I'll Hate Them to do a plunge attack and get the Ginger Infusion that works with his kit, right? So you do need to kind of make sure where you put her at in your party if you're trying to quick swap to your next character. Now, her burst is going to do an instance of AoE geo damage. It's beautiful. I love how she pulls the fabric out and she cuts through them. It's great. Chiori's second favorite character if it's not obvious. That's all that her burst does though, right? It is just going to do AoE geo damage. Now, something else that works with Chiori, if you have her in a team with another character that makes a geo construct, for instance, Ning Wang, then you can create another doll, right? You can only have 2 dolls, but you can create a second doll. It has to be a geo construct. So it's not gonna work with like Goru or Noelle, but it will work with Ningi and it will work with Ito. Ushi is considered a geo construct. And then of course the same thing applies. Both dolls will stay on the field, even if you swap characters, and they're gonna kind of do like, they'll each have their instance of geo damage. Now, something else is that with Chiori, she does have a split scaling, meaning that part of her damage comes from her attack and part of her damage comes from her defense. It does favor defense slightly, but you still want to have a fairly good attack on Chiori because that does matter. It does take the attack into effect. Whereas with a character like Mulaney, you really only want HP, right? Her entire scaling is off of HP. Chiori is split scaling, so you do need to make sure that you balance out the attack and the defense. Now for artifacts. In early game, I'm going to say probably something like 2-piece Defender's Will, 2-piece Resolution, which is just going to be like attack, just because of how her scaling works. You can throw some ER in there, but probably just like 2-piece defense, 2-piece attack. For mid to late game, Husk or Golden Troop. Most people are going to have Golden Troop kind of lying around because a lot of people grinded it out whenever it first came out for Farina and then for Marshmallow Hunter. But Husk is also a very, very good artifact set, and it's just prettier on her, right? So of course I'm gonna go for Husk. This is gonna increase her defense, which is going to be very, very good. And for the main stats, it's pretty much gonna be the same thing no matter which artifact set you choose, and that is gonna be a defense Sands, a Geo Goblet, and then a crit rate or crit damage circlet, depending on what you need more of. Now, if we look at Golden Troop real quick, you're going to see that it's going to increase your elemental skill damage by 20%, then the 4-piece is going to increase it again, and then when they're not on the field, it's going to increase it even further. So this is going to be a really, really good set for Chiori to use as an off-field damage dealer. Now for weapons, of course, you do have her signature Araku, which I did make sure that I gave her my level 91 instead of the level 61 that I'm currently leveling up. Araku is going to be very, very good. It's going to give her crit damage. She's not going to mind the lower base attack that Araku gives because you do want to build her for more defense and attack. But the normal attack damage is increased, the skill attack damage is increased, And after a nearby Geo character that's on field deals Geo damage, then it's going to increase all of that. It's going to basically double it. So it's going to be 32% and 48%, and then it's going to also increase the defense by 20%. This is going to increase a lot for Chiori. If you do not have Araku, you do have other options, one of which is actually Sheilinen's signature weapon, which is going to be the best option for support Chiori. If I'm able to get Peak Patrol Song, I'm actually probably going to put it on Chiori for this team that I have her in. But this is actually a very, very good weapon for her, as well as somebody like Albedo. This weapon is going to be phenomenal for support Sheilinen, Chiori, and Albedo. And even having something like Husk on Chiori is just going to help with Sheilinen's signature weapon, Peak Patrol Song, on her as well, to where she'll be able to support and still do a fair good amount of damage. Now, some other options that you do have, you of course have Harbinger of Dawn, which is actually going to be one of her best weapons. Again, she doesn't care about the low base attack because you want to build her defense. The crit damage and the crit rate is going to be great because you're going to bring her on the field, use her skill, and take her right back off. So if you're not using her with Farina, keeping her above 90% HP should be really, really easy. And you're going to be giving her a really good split. And then, of course, you do have the new craftable Natlin weapon, which is going to increase her defense, and then using her skills is going to just increase it even more, right? So we're just building a ton of defense so that way she can do a ton of damage. And now we're going to look at my Chiori. She's level 90 out of 90, 19,000 HP, 1,700 attack, and then almost 2,400 defense. Her crit split is 60 over 247 with 116 ER. She is running a level 90 out of a 90 Araku. Now I do have 2 copies of Araku. One is on I'll Hate Them, one is on Chiori, and I use them in a team together. I did make a video on that. Check it out here. Hopefully I remember to put that there. Of course, she is running Husk, and we're not gonna look at her Geo Goblet because it is really, really bad. And she is C0. Her talents are 2, 7, 5. I am going to triple crown Chiori after I finish triple crowning Nilou, and then I'll go to Dio. I'm going to go on Nilou, Chiori, Dia because those are my top 3 favorites. So, like I did say earlier, I did make a video talking about this crazy team with Chiori and I'll Hate Them in it, and it's phenomenal. It is very quickly becoming one of my favorites. Yes, technically Sheilonen would be a better fit into this team than Chiori. I'm going to use Chiori because Chiori is my second favorite, and I've got other plans for Sheilonen. But that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave down in the comments. Myself or somebody else should answer it, and I'll see you in the next one.
Here you are.